Well, hello. It is. I think it's Wednesday. I think so. Hump day. And we just had a new record all-time high in Bitcoin, which is quite exciting. And I was working with my person who puts the material together around a title for this video. And they said, you used that one already. I've been telling people. Everybody said, oh, I should have sold in May and gone away. Well, no. Now you know why. I've been saying things are very bullish. The setup is extreme. So let's get into the story. Thank you, Teeny Tesla, Sean D, K8, and everybody for being here. And all the usual. Hudson the dog as well. Iverson. What a cool name. What a Viking name. Anyway, let's go and walk through like a bunch of stuff I'll be talking about today. Its title is called Bitcoin's About to Explode, but we'll talk about M2, an all-time high, Tether, mining, a little bit, long-term holders, a bunch of data on that, and what could be sending a couple of theories as to what could be sending the price so high. Sanjay was texting me, he said, what gives? What's going on? Well, perfect storm of maybe liquidity, scarcity, US president, stuff that Tether is doing, long-term holders. You know, it's all very good. So let's go. And of course, I'm just a guy on the internet, not financial advice. And shout out to, let me see, Waihiki Fish says, I joined your Patreon community and my financial IQ has gone through the roof. And now I'm such a better investor. Woohoo, excellent. That's the mission. We've got maybe a year or two left before AI takes over. But in the meantime, let's get into the story today. And this could be part of it. There's a lady called Elizabeth Warren. She's having a very hard time today and is going pretty bonkers because the president of the United States now holds the majority of his wealth in Bitcoin. What a time to be alive. She spent the last 6 years trying to kill Bitcoin in the United States. And a day like today for her is extremely painful. And it makes me happy. So I don't like people that try and take freedom away from others, okay? And Bitcoin is freedom. It helps financial freedom. That's why I make videos every day. But let's talk about this. We had this new record. We hit a new record high of $112,510. No, sorry. This is the liquidation level. First, I'm jumping ahead of myself. Apologies for that. Bitcoin is above 111K as we speak. And the next liquidation level is 112,510. We got super close to that. I think we actually hit that. But if you look carefully here, you'll see the little orange ball there. That's what they're gunning for. That's what the market makers want. And that's why it's exciting to watch. Whoops. Let's get this off. It's been a big day already for me. Shorts got wrecked. Those people that were hoping for the Bitcoin price to go down, the sell in May, go away crew, well, they got a little bit of a teaser. 1 hour, $287 million was lost. Only 7 million of that was long. 280 million of it were people who were short. And over the last 24 hours, about $430 million. Again, a rough day for the shorts. But if you watch DCA, we've been talking about this for a long time. It would go to 112K because that's where the shorts live. If we go to 115, then we go straight to 120 because that's the last levels of liquidations that need to be covered. And again, risk happens fast. We saw a God candle, in fact, in copper yesterday. Kind of interesting. And again, the new all-time high, we didn't get to the 112,500, but we did get to 112,152. And a nice little 2.18% gain. But remember, when you have an asset north of 110,000, 2% is a big dollar move, especially when you have got a low cost basis. It's monstrous. That's why it's so important to get in early. But let's talk about July. I made an entire video dedicated to how July would be good. And again, the Sell in May crew said, no, not going to be good. Well, we're up 6% so far in July. And that's not bad at all. The average returns for July are 8.2%. But remember this one. This is the killer one. When you add up the average return for July with the seasonality we have, it's actually a lot higher than that. And that's where we are. So again, the seasonality continues to work. for now until it doesn't. But in the meantime, we'll keep a close eye on it. And remember this, global M2 money, it's calling for $160,000 Bitcoin. If history repeats, if this 92% correlation continues, we're going to 160K. Some people even say 192K. I don't think we'll go that high, but who knows? Either way, I have my seatbelt on and I'm ready for the ride. So hope you enjoy the show. Now, let's talk a bit about a couple of things as well. This is a very interesting statistic that I found very, very delicious from the team at ARK Invest. I will spend a bit of time on this because when you look at the chart, you don't really get what it's saying, but I'll try and explain what it's saying in simple terms. But basically, this is the amount of global liquidity per Bitcoin, and it hit a 12-year high. And that is the global M2 supply divided by the amount of Bitcoin that's out there. So you can see from 2012 to about 2025, it has this new record. Now, the y-axis represents the ratio in millions, and the x-axis represents, of course, the years out to where we are today. And, of course, the ratio did decline steadily from around 7 million in 2012 to about 4 million around 2019. But since then, the ratio has been increasing steadily. Now, what's interesting about this, though, as well, the amount of Bitcoin that's available is not going up as much, but the amount of global M2 that's out there is going up a lot. All right. And since 2019, the ratio has been increasing, reaching approximately 6 million in mid-2025. That's the 12-year high. And this action suggests that this rise, remember, 6 million, if you take the amount of global money, you divide it by the number of Bitcoin, that gives you an actual amount of global M2 over Bitcoin, number of Bitcoin, and that's about $6 million per Bitcoin. And in simple terms, this chart indicates that the amount, again, relative to the number of Bitcoin, has hit its highest level in 12 years, and the amount of money supply is going up, and the asset is getting more scarce, which means things could really go exponential pretty fast. Let's talk a bit about other crazy things that are happening too, but this is a beautiful chart. Very beautiful indeed. And then the long-term holders, again, as a view of how tight the supply is for this is from David Puel. He said the percentage of long-term holders hits that 15-year high, not a 12-year high from the previous chart. This is now a 15-year high. 74% of the total Bitcoin supply is held by long-term holders, and it's going up again. This shows you that a lot of people have conviction in this asset, and it is a store of value, digital gold, whatever you want to call it. And as you know, the more people hold it, the less supply there really is out there. And therefore, if somebody comes in and tries to buy it, it's going to be really hard to get a big bag. That's why we have people like Michael Saylor buying as much as he can. We'll get to that in a minute too. Other good stuff that could be triggering the big move today is inflation. Okay, this is from Trueflation, our friends at Trueflation. Hello, Trueflation. They always cut this little piece of video and retweet it as well. I love the work that they do. But inflation is now at 1.6%. And Jerome Powell refuses to admit his 2% has been achieved because the data he looks at is all wrong. All the employment data, all the other data, real estate values, inflation data is just all wrong and delayed too. And rumors are in, okay, this is JP looking a little bit disheveled. Rumors are in from Simply Bitcoin that the Fed chair is rumored to #resign. The pressure is extreme for him to go. In fact, apparently there's 2 Kevins that are already in line to take this seat. Kevin, if any Kevins out there, let me know in the comments below. But that could happen too. When this happens, rates will be cut very fast. And of course, the money printing will continue, as we see here. And the Bitcoin price will follow because it's a hard asset. It's not simple, everybody. Don't overthink it. Don't overthink it. And JP, if you're out, have a nice retirement or whatever you're going to do. Anywho, this is so funny too, because I've been in MicroStrategy for 5 years now. And all I've heard is, it's a Ponzi, it's a Ponzi, it's a Ponzi. No, it's a vehicle by which to accumulate Bitcoin and increase the amount of Satoshis per share over time. That's it. Again, don't overthink it. But now calls for this being a Ponzi is kind of hilarious. And as the Ponzi cries get louder, the Saylor's laughing all the way to the bank. They are now sitting on $24 billion of unrealized profit on Bitcoin. 24 billion. And we're part of it. Anybody who watches the show has some MicroStrategy, and it's been life-changing for many. Had some amazing stories from the thousands of people that hit millionaire status because of this asset. Well done, everybody. And if this couldn't get even better, Max Keiser believes MicroStrategy is fabricating basically an artificial Bitcoin halving because he's taking so much of the supply. So what he's trying to say here is $2.2 million per Bitcoin is in play. It's written on his hat, therefore he believes it. But people are confused. What does that mean? MicroStrategy is representing another halving. That's because they're taking so much supply. In the last year, they've bought the next 3 years plus 4 years of supply. I've lost count. I need to do that math again to make sure I'm up to date. They are munching on Bitcoin, taking it away from the system. It's actually worse than a halving, in my opinion. That is what Max Keiser is talking about. And that's why he believes the price target could get nuts, especially if late players come in to start buying it. Now, speaking of other crazy, great news too, this is Powell. He is the CEO of Tether. And he said by the end of 2025, Tether will be the world's largest Bitcoin miner. Okay. Again, by the end of this year, in less than 6 months. And they are not just printing USDT hand over fist, but they are also planning to dominate the Hashpower field as well. Tether is becoming a full-blown Bitcoin powerhouse. Remember, they take profits from Tether, from the treasury bill stuff paid by this guy, and then they buy Bitcoin with that profit. And now they have over 100,000 Bitcoin. Okay, this is crazy. They also have a significant financial investment and strategic involvement with Cantor Equity Partners, CEP, and 21 Capital as well, and a whole bunch more. It's crazy what's going on. Again, everything is converging in a very big way, very fast. But we do have some sad news for our friends in New Zealand. And this is where I've noticed a trend. I made a video on this about 3 or 4 years ago. One of my first videos, I was trying to map the correlation between the hunger of the residents of a country for Bitcoin and the Orwellian nature of the government in that country. And literally, there's almost a direct correlation. The more Orwellian the government, the more hunger there is for Bitcoin. That's why we have a lot of Kiwis and Australians and Dutch and British and Canadians in the audience, because New Zealand wants to ban crypto ATMs and a crackdown on criminal cash conversions. Okay, we've known for a long time, if you're a criminal, the last thing you want to use is Bitcoin for your crime because it can be tracked and confiscated so easily. But they've banned crypto ATMs and set a $5,000 cap in movement of money overseas. But they don't know that people can turn on a VPN and do whatever they want anyhow. So anyway, it's just sad for the Kiwis. And we saw some very sad things happen during C19 as well over there. Anyway, moving on. Remember, if you are in an authoritarian regime, find a way to work around it a little bit and get your hard assets. Very important. And to say as well, by the way, despite all the people watching the show are retail investors, the Google interest in Bitcoin is dead. It's not a retail game. The people making this spike to $111,000 Bitcoin today, they are not retail investors. Okay, it's very difficult for a lot of retail investors to move a $2 trillion asset. And that proves to you, once again, this is not a retail game. This is institutions stacking all they can. Remember, 2.14 million Bitcoin on exchanges. Many people hold them. They're not going to sell them. And OTC desks are getting tight. Once we get to 2 million Bitcoin on exchanges, then we might see our supply crunch. We shall see. We shall see. Again, don't shoot the messenger, just the data guy. No, don't shoot the data guy either. Anyway, finishing up with meme du jour. Shout out to Jack, who kicked this to me this morning. And Elon Musk is getting a lot of heat now as well. But he did buy 20,000 Bitcoin for Tesla and SpaceX in 2021 at $30,000. And now it's worth over $2.5 billion. Shout out to Naive Crypto for that great one, too. Naive meme. It's profound. Anyway, crazy world in which we live. Stay healthy, everybody. Future is bright. There's going to be a Bitcoin only and proxies playlist up above if that's what tickles your fancy. And I hope you enjoyed the show. I'm in a really good mood. So if there's any quick question here as to where we think things are going, I'll take that question. But pop myself up. Let me see. Turn this off. And then I can pop up a question if anybody has one. Nobody here. All the capitalists, yes. Hello, capitalists. A big thank you. I want a trio with James, Check, and Marty. Interesting. I like that idea. James Check is awesome. Very awesome. And James Check has actually gotten really bullish, by the way, lately. Really bullish, even on MicroStrategy too. Another quick one from Lexi Lynn. Will MicroStrategy earnings help number go up? The answer is it doesn't really matter. It could get them inserted in the S&P 500. We're not sure. If that does happen, things will really kick off. In fact, MicroStrategy today was also extremely strong. Let's check out the numbers for MicroStrategy. Up, I think it was like 415 last time I checked. And now I can't even see it. There it is, 415.5, up nearly 5% today. Really, really good. And anybody else? ETH thoughts? A lot of people like ETH. Quick word on ETH, by the way. We are above $2,700. A lot of people believe that could mean the start of alt season. So that's great. Next resistance, I think if we get to 115K, got to get above 112.5. That's the big liquidation level. And then get up after that, 115K, big liquidations, and we go straight to 120. After that, we have to see exactly what happens next. So enjoy. I don't know if it's a short squeeze. I think it was a little bit of hunting of liquidity. But that's it. Anyway, thank you all for coming. Have a great Wednesday. It's a fantastic midweek. Normally, midweek is dead. All the action for Bitcoin happens Monday and then Friday and then at the weekend. So to have a pump like this on a Wednesday is a very good omen for the rest of the week. So stay healthy, everybody. Have fun out there. Big thank you to the mods as well. And yes, talk to you tomorrow. Good night.